In today's episode of the Hexagon Challenge, we start the 2027-28 season in France at AS Monaco, taking on Paris Saint Germain in the Trophee des Champions. Can we start the season off with a trophy against the defending Champions League winners? Also, we round up the transfer window. Let's get into it. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. If you are looking forward to the new season here at AS Monaco, our first full one in charge of course, then please do leave a thumbs up on today's video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already and you enjoyed the content here. So it's been a couple of days since we finished last season where we finished 4th in Ligue, which wasn't enough to get a Champions League spot. We did qualify for the Europa League group stage through two different means, of course, having also won the Coupe de France. Having won that tournament means that we are starting off the season in this game today against Paris Saint Germain, the Trophee des Champions. And Paris Saint Germain did go on to win the Champions League. So we did beat them last season, but I'm not sure if they were taking it as seriously as they were the Champions League. So this is going to be a really good test for us to see if we can challenge them for the Ligue title this season. The goal, though, is to get into Champions League qualification so that we can start building towards the third out of the 6 Champions Leagues that we need, having, of course, already ticked off the Oceania Champions League at Hamilton Wanderers and the Copa Libertadores at Atlético Nacional in Colombia. So before we get into today's game, we do have the small matter of a transfer window to talk through. Now, I am going to rush through the transfers that we did bring in because a lot of them I did run you guys through towards the end of last episode. I'll put the link up in the top corner now. It was about the last 12 minutes of that video that we started getting into what I was looking at who we were going to bring in at this transfer window. And we did bring most of those players in, so we're probably not going to go into as much detail as we regularly would for a transfer window in terms of the incomings. But if you want a little bit more detail as to why we brought these players in, it was filling out squad depth mainly, but it was in the last episode, so go and check that out if you have not done so already. Maybe not the whole episode if you don't feel that you need to, but at the very least the last 12 minutes where we did discuss this transfer window that we had. But we will start with the incomings. All of these free transfers are players in the under-20s. We've got Alassane Kessie from Paris Saint Germain, a decent looking 19-year-old. If you guys want to look at the stats, then pause it. He's not going to feature in the first team this season, but he's got a fair bit of promise and could do in the future. Hamid Kiat, we bought in a player who is going to feature for our second team. A little bit of potential, hopefully at the very least, with a free transfer we can flick him on for a profit. And Hello Molini, we bought in from Juventus on a free transfer. A player with decent potential. He's already gone back out on loan to Nimes, so he will not be seen this season, but you can see he's got some decent green stats there, so happy to have him on board. Shola Shortire from Manchester United, the Englishman. He is in the AS Monaco 2 at the moment. Has a little bit of potential. Maybe we're going to be able to flick him on for a profit, although he is injured at the moment, which is unfortunate. And Mamadou Adam was the other early free signing that we made. This guy actually looks like a very good value on a free $12 million player, and he's got a fair bit of potential currently lying in the second team. After that, we started to ever so slightly bring some players in for fees. Eduard Filipov was a player who our second team manager actually suggested we buy, a Russian centre midfielder, a fair bit of potential, and for what he was worth, we thought that we would bring him in. He is currently listed out for loan, so hopefully we can get him somewhere where he's going to get some good first team football before this transfer window closes. Very good passer. And the other free transfer that I forgot to mention was Facundo Pellistri, another one we got him from Manchester United, 44.5 million. He is in the first team, but he is really just there to provide squad depth and won't be featuring a heck of a lot, only if we have some serious injuries. And even if we do, we've got the likes of Gelson Martin still at the club who can step into the first team, probably ahead of this guy, despite looking at his stats. And as I said, at the very worst, he's worth 44 million. That's a decent chunk of money that we can get for a player like that. So hopefully, if things don't work out for him, that's the way that will go anyway. And then we start getting to the players who we discussed at the end of last episode. We bought all of them in, bar one. So we'll go through them very quickly because I sort of went over why we were going to bring them in the last episode. Edwin Quintero was the wonder kid striker from Colombia. We bought him in. I mean, he is a very good player. If you look at what we paid for him, 20 million is what he cost. Not bad considering his value, 58 million. So I think that's a very good transfer. He is going to be our backup striker to Flavio Enrique this season, so he is going to be pushing him nice and hard for a first team spot. Then Amin Guerli, a player who I'm pretty sure I've heard Mad FM rate quite highly. He is another bench player that we've bought in from Fiorentina, 27.5 million New Zealand dollars for him. Another player who has very good value compared to what we paid for him. And you look at some of his stats, I mentioned this in the last episode. He looks a very good all-round option. He's already scored 8 goals in 3 appearances in the preseason, so he is a serious player, this guy. He might be pushing for first-team football in a starting spot. Gabriel Fernandez was the other winger that we were looking at bringing in, the Argentinian wonder kid. 65 million he's worth. We did not pay that much. We paid 25 million to get him from Monterrey after they paid 17 million. The stats on him don't look great, but he is highly rated, so we're going to give him the first team berth for this game coming up today, and he is bound to grow, as you can tell, with that potential ability. And he also is non-EU, of course, because he's got a bit of Spanish in him, which is nice to have. Tanguy Nianzou is a centre-back from France that we bought him from Bayern Munich. 69 million. This was our biggest transfer spend of the window. He is currently injured as well, which is a bit of a shame. But as I said in the last episode, love his heading and his jumping reach. He's got decent pace and strength. He looks a very good option. He will be our starting centre-back over Sevillano when he gets back fit, but for now, it is going to be Sevillano while Nianzou is out injured. The other centre-back that we bought in, David Acquaviva from Roma, the Italian 18-year-old. He's going to be getting a lot of game time for that second team and under-19s. Promising ball-playing defender, love his first touch heading, and he's got good bravery and determination as well. So he was a very good pickup for 16 million, which is bang on what he's worth, so that was a good pickup for us. It might rise, but it's unlikely. We also bought in a few more free transfers later in the window, players who will again be building out squad depth in the second team and under-19. Cedric van Dissel, a Belgian attacking left winger. We've got Luc Klisman, a French 19-year-old who can play in the midfield as well as up top, but looking at those stats, definitely more of a midfielder than a striker. And we also bought in Lautaro Paz from Argentina, a deep-lying playmaker is the role that we will want him playing in that CDM role. Some alright stats, but a fair bit of potential. So hopefully, at the very least, we can build him up and then sell him for a very nice profit. So those are the incomings that we did make. The other player who we were looking at bringing in, but we couldn't, was of course Jack McCaskill from Rangers, the Scottish goalkeeper who was in theory going to be a backup for us. We went up to 5.5 million with this offer, but Rangers didn't want to sell him. In the end, I decided he was not worth it. We have actually signed a 17-year-old Turkish goalkeeper, but unfortunately, he isn't joining us until the end of next year, which is a little bit of a shame. If we go down and find him, there he is, Hikmet Balas, 3.5 million from Fenerbahce under-19s. He's 17 years old, 2 under-20 caps already. And he looks like he's got a decent bit of ability / potential as well. If we look at the screen, 4.5-star potential. He is going to come into the club next season and hopefully be good enough to provide that backup that David Raya currently is. So we are a little bit light on backup goalkeepers at the moment. You look at Gordon, then Raya, and then you've got some players in the under-19s and Monaco too, like Lai and Vogel Garnier. We could have used an extra body who would have been a bit more quality than what we've got in Raya, but it wasn't to be. We do have a bit of spare transfer budget still, but I am keeping that aside for the installments that we used last season on the likes of Tessier and Mikado. In terms of who we've sold, we sold a lot of under-19 and second team players. I won't go through those guys in too much detail. One player that we did sell out of that team though was Viktor Ljubanovic. That's probably not how you pronounce it. The Croatian winger / attacking midfielder. We got 10 million for him. You look at what our scouts thought of him, I thought that's a pretty good deal. He was only going to ever get to 3-star potential at the most, and that might have even been a stretch. Sold him for 10.75 million after picking him up last season before I got to the club for 5.25 million. So that, I believe, is a nice bit of business. Teddy Jenks is a player we got a little bit of money for. He was in the Monaco second team and was out on loan last season. 2.5 million for him. Could we have got more? Yes, but after all those signings, I was actually having some wage trouble, so I was actually really looking to get rid of some players, and he was one of the first names on the list. You can see there another player who wasn't really ever going to get in the first team picture while I was here, especially if we kept improving the squad. And in the end, we did make a profit on him because we only signed him for 1.2 million a couple of seasons ago. We sold him for 2.5, possibly undersold, but not a bad one. I feel Ivan Vusimilovic Grzic was another Croatian that we got rid of. He went to Nottingham Forest, another player we possibly could have got more for. But again, you look at his potential, his ability, he was only ever really going to be in that second team. We signed him for 1.7, sold him for 3.4. I think another decent bit of business, although apparently he's valued it more now, so maybe we could have done better with a 23-year-old there. And then we start to get to some first-team players that we've actually sold. The first one, Nikola Moro. I was trying to get rid of this Croatian midfielder for a long time. He turned down a ton of transfers. It got very frustrating, but finally he decided to leave for Trabzonspor in Turkey. His potential and ability has actually gone up since we've sold him, but only by a half star. He was 2-star ability and potential. Really had no place being at the club, and we got 12 million for him. Look, not a great deal. We signed him for 28 million a couple of seasons ago before I was at the club, but I just wanted to get rid of him, especially with the wage issues after all those new signings. That sale did help alleviate those concerns quite a bit, so it was good to get rid of him after he was more or less stealing a wage here. And we also sold Lucas Gomez. Now, this was mainly because we have 3 other strikers in the squad. We have Ligue, Macedo, and now Quintero, so it was a good idea, I thought, to get rid of Lucas Gomez, especially with those wage concerns. Decent Brazilian. I mean, his stats overall are good, but as I said when we first got here, he looks good without looking great. There's nothing out there that really jumps off the page at you, and we've bought another player in Quintero who looks like he's got a bit more X factor and potential. You can see we bought him in for 37 million a couple of seasons ago, another player who have made a loss on about half the price. But yeah, with those wage concerns, I wanted to get rid of him, and another player who was really only going to be a second team player anyway, so we thought we'd get rid of him, and that has helped our transfer and wage budget out nicely, and we've got another couple of loans in the outgoings as well. So that is more or less the transfer window, what that's done to the squad. So in terms of our first team, we'll just get the injured Nianzou back in here just to show you guys what we're actually going to be doing here. And this is the team that I would like to go with for the important games this season. So Gourlong keeps his place in goal. We've still got Tessier, Tapsoba, and Mulder at the back, but Nianzou comes in with that very nice heading. He should be a good threat from corners for us. Our midfield remains unchanged. Ampadu, Puig, and Agume. Dembele is on one wing with Fernandes, the Argentinian wonder kid, Gabriel Fernandes, that is, on the other wing. He has the best roll ability, apparently. Torn between him and Guerli, but we'll see how we get on there. And we've got, of course, Flavio Henrique up front, who finished last season off very nicely for us. And I've still got to sort this bench out, actually, because we've just come out of a pre-season where I've had 12 subs, but you can expect Sevillano, Koulibaly, or Stamnik. Probably Guerli, I like the look of him, or Hudson-Odoi on the bench, as well as Quintero. That's where we're looking at for the bench. Then we go down to a few more players. We've still got Loftus-Cheek here. Would like a good offer for him, but unfortunately it hasn't come in, and we've got the likes of Gelson Martin still at the club as well. So we've got some really good squad depth here now, and hopefully that means that we can, at the very least, gain Champions League football from our league opposition this season. Hopefully having a full season at the club means we'll be able to do better than we were last season when we finished 4th. So I think that's pretty much it in terms of going into today's game. What we will do is we will come back when the match coverage starts. PSG and the Trophee des Champions. Okay, we've got TV coverage. Here is the PSG team. A bit difficult to read, but we've got the likes of Felix, Mbappe, SMS, Joe Gomez. It's a very strong team. We have had to make a few changes here. As I said, Sevillano is in at centre-back for the new guy in from Bayern, Nianzou. And we've also got Ledger at left-back coming in for a suspended Paul Tessier, with Mulder going to right-back. Fernandes on the bench. He can only cope with 45 minutes at the moment, but otherwise we are at full strength as much as we can be, and we're kicking off playing left to right. The other thing I forgot to mention is this is the first game on my new laptop. Hopefully you guys can tell the difference in the graphics. We've gone from a computer with a low graphic capability on this game, which is terrible, to a high graphic capability. I mean, you probably can't tell much, but at the very least should be a lot less choppy than what it was, as PSG have an early attack 4 minutes into the game. It isn't a competition that we're overly focused about, or a trophy that we're overly worried about winning this, but it would be nice to lay down an early marker for the season and get our second win over PSG in as many games. Would be nice to just maybe throw them off their game a little bit going into the season and give our boys a bit of belief that maybe we could challenge these guys, even if it's possibly a bit of a far-fetched thing at the moment, as Mbappe finds Moriba with a long shot, and we get away with that. It's been ruled out for offside, that goal. It was a lovely stroke from Moriba, similar to the one he scored against us last season, but they do have a player offside there, and that is why the goal has been ruled out, just interfering with the goalkeeper, according to the referees. 0-0 after 7 minutes. And it is a corner to Monaco after 11 minutes. Dembele on a yellow will put this in. Now, Sevillano tried to get his head to it, couldn't. Might be just a little bit messed up from corners today without Nianzou. Sevillano not as good a header, but hopefully we'll still be able to do a little bit of damage from them as we consolidate possession after that corner. Now, you try and play Dembele through there. It is cleared from PSG, but we will have a throw, and Mulder takes it short. We've got rid of the long throws. They just don't work anymore, although unfortunately we give Mbappe the ball, albeit he clears it out only as far as Tapsoba, who puts a ball across. Now Enrique tries to get his head to it, can't. Augusto plays that back to a Grumi as we get possession back. They have made a few signings, PSG, around the $200 million mark, so they definitely have a lot more power than we do in the transfer market, but hopefully we can match it with them. Hopefully we've spent our money a bit smarter. Some of the names that they have brought in you will recognise, though, because they're from the team of Southampton that defeated us in the Europa League second round of the knockouts last season. But PSG are getting a nice counter-attack on the go here. Mbappe, though, his shot pretty weak. Straight at Goulon. It remains 0-0 after 15 minutes. Although Sergius has a free kick for PSG, blocked by a Grumet, and Puig's going to get on the end of this. If Flavio Enrique can get nearby, he could set him up here. Oh, it's a lovely ball, Enrique, surely. Yes, we are 1-0 up in the Trophee Champions. A lovely counter-attacking goal that was. Came from a PSG free kick, I should say, that Agumi blocked. Ricky Puig got on the end of that. It was exactly what we wanted, because it allowed Flavio Enrique and also Dembele to get into a lot of clear space. Enrique was the only player we needed, though. Drew the goalkeeper in and buried it nicely. The bottom right corner, we are 1-0 up after 17 minutes. And we have a highlight shortly after that, and it is Monaco with the ball. We play out from the back after getting it back there, and Puig will find Dembele. Some nice passing from him early on. Dembele just about to work his way into the box. He puts a cross in that does go out for a corner. So we have started this game pretty well. Both teams with chances. The corner is headed away by Gomez, but Ledger, our young left back, is able to tidy things up. We do actually have a young right back on the bench as well, but we'll introduce him to you guys should we need to bring him on. Fernandez, the Argentinian/Spanish wonder kid. Good ball for a Gourmet, but a shot straight at the PSG goalkeeper. Although we might have another highlight coming, and in fact it is PSG after 20 minutes with a throw-in. Gomez to Augusto, the former Southampton player. Back to Gomez, what can he do? Sergius, hopefully Gomez less of a threat this season, thanks to the nerfing of long throws, although Guevardiol gets into space, a shot just wide and high. It remains 1-0 to Monaco after 25 minutes. Pembele with a free kick for PSG, and they will look to get us here from it and level the scores at 1-1, but pretty happy with the start we've had so far, even though PSG have been able to get some good chances, and we intercept that through Puig and Dembele. Can he put Enrique through? No, it's a good tackle there from one of the PSG players, and they get it out to Mbappe, the former Monaco player, although Ampadu with a good slide tackle on him, albeit PSG do retain possession. Now Moriba, very dangerous midfielder. Back to Bakar and out to Guardiol. Now Tapsoba tidies that up. Goron was a little bit worried for a second there because it looked like that could be a mistake, although now Mbappe's in, but straight at Goron, the angle too tight. It remains 1-0 after 28 minutes. Okay, it is a goal kick to PSG after 34 minutes. You will notice that Flavio Enrique has picked up a little bit of a niggle, which is concerning. We might have to bring on Quintero, which, to be fair, isn't much of a loss these days. So Might be testing our squad depth early. We've got 2 weeks until our first Ligue 1 game, so not the end of the world, hopefully, should we have to make a sub. Sevillano clears that attack from PSG, but they do get the ball back. Nice ball through here to Augusto, but his shot is wide to the left, and it will remain 1-0 after 35 minutes. And indeed, Enrique is going to have to come off. Potential lower leg injury. That's unfortunate. We will bring the Colombian on. We'll give you guys another look at him just in case you didn't check it out when we did that transfer roundup. But as you can see, he is quick as anything. His finishing is actually a little bit better than Enrique. His dribbling not quite as good, but in terms of out-and-out strikers, he looks like he should be very good for us. He will come on, play the exact same role with the attacking forward. And we've got 5 minutes to go in this first half. We hold a 1-0 lead. Throw into PSG coming up to the end of the first half. Gomez finds Sergiej after we nearly cut it out. Augusto into Mbappe, puts one back over for Gomez. What can they do? Hopefully nothing. They find Felix, back to Mariba, his shot blocked. Gomez though, heel of a shot. Oh, Mulder with a very nice clearance. It looked like that might be just sneaking into the net, but he covered that nicely, did Mulder. And now PSG look to attack again. Baka, a player they signed in the middle of last season for $200 million. Another shot blocked there. Now Gomez puts that into Ampadu, who just hoofs it clear. And they will have a corner with 1 minute to go in the first half. And Mbappe puts it in. Mariba gets his head to it, but he was running in the wrong direction. Always difficult. 1-0 as we approach half-time. And we have got to half-time. We have not had many chances at all, but the chance that we did have was a very good one. And Flavio Enrique, before he went off with injury, was able to bury it. PSG probably have had the better of the game. You look at the overall shots and they can feel hard done by, but our chance a lot clearer than theirs was. They did have a goal ruled out for offside as well. But pretty happy with how things are going. We'll get to the dressing room. We'll tell them that we're happy with how things are going to keep it up. We will make a sub here, and it will be Dembele. You can see his rating isn't very good. What this does allow us to do is give Amin Guerli a chance on the left wing. We will put Gabriel Fernandez out to the right, so we'll switch those two around. I believe now we've got some really good squad depth here, so as I said, we are using 2 subs now, but it does feel like I have a bit more freedom to take players off now because we've got some decent quality on the bench. And we'll get into the second half where hopefully we can hold on to a 1-0 lead and pick up our first bit of silverware for the 2027-28 season. PSG kicking off, playing left to right, but they give the ball straight to Gordon. Into the 53rd minute is a throw into Monaco, although we've given that straight to Mariba, which is frustrating with a short throw, and Felix is going to get on the end of this now. I was waiting to take Sevillano off of that yellow card just because I thought that highlight would be for us. Might not be the case. Baka, a good gusto, although that's straight at Goron. We roll this out to Sevillano, over to Ligue. And that's the highlight. We will make that sub now, though, because defenders on a yellow card I don't like. So we'll bring Martinez Quarta on for Sevillano. I should actually have those two the other way around with the heading skills. So we'll do that. And those are our free subs. I'm not sure if there's actually more than 3 subs in this game, being a pre-season game, but we'll see how we get on. With 25 minutes to go, we still hold a 1-0 lead. Throw into PSG after 62 minutes. I've tried to take a midfielder off just to see how many subs we do have, and indeed only the 3 substitutions. Oh, nice ball there for Augusto. Gourlon commits early and does get to it. Felix and Mbappe, oh, they're just knocking it about there. They probably should have hit a shot earlier. And the end shot from Guardiol is wide. We get away with that. We hold on to a 1-0 lead, but they are definitely coming for us here, PSG. And we play out from the back from the goal kick, and it finds its way to Ampadu, up to Puig, back to Quarta. Nice ball over the top for Fernandez there. Mulder, they are pegging us an hour and a half here. PSG, Ampadu tried to find someone. Guerri just providing a nuisance enough of himself to make sure that Ligue got on the end of that, and he plays it back to Ligue once he receives the ball, puts a ball in. Headed clear. Not the best clearance there from PSG, though. Fernandez will play Quintero in. Oh, it's a good save from the PSG goalkeeper. Now, Colombian wonder could nearly starting off with a goal, but a good save. 1-0 still. We have a corner, and no one can get their head to it from us. And now PSG do have a free kick in the 65th minute. Mbappe making his way into the box. Back for Pembele. He'll have a shot blocked. Mbappe, his shot goes wide. We're holding on to this lead with 25 minutes to go. Throw into PSG as we come up to the 80-minute mark. It's headed back out to Baka. Puts it across for Tolisso, the player we almost signed. Luckily, he has his shot saved by Gourlon, trying to curve that into the bottom left corner. He pumps it down towards Gurley, and he heads it back to Agumi nicely. And he looks to play. That would have been Fernandez through, but is cut out by PSG, albeit only as far as our defence. Now, Gurley gets the ball back on that left-hand side over to Puig, just getting to the ball in time before the PSG player does. Ledger, back over to Puig, back to Ampadu. We're just holding the ball nicely, or we play that through Quintero. This would certainly seal it. 2-0 with 10 to go, and surely we have won now the Trophee des Champions. We've got some tired midfielders, but both of our young strikers have done the job for us. We held the ball very nicely here. Ampadu just hold it for a little bit and found Quintero, who shook his defender clear with that run. Buries it bottom right corner, just like Henrique did in the first half. And we are 2-0 up with 10 to go. Okay, PSG with a throw-in with 7 minutes to go now. Mbappe back to Gvardiol. They put a ball in. Oh, Mbappe, that was a very nicely worked goal. And just like that, it is back to 2-1. And maybe they are going to sneak their way back into this PSG. It was a well-worked routine, this. We nearly stopped that throw-in that got to Mbappe. Sergius puts the ball in Felix. A lovely ball back to Mbappe, who somehow found some space. And they have they have got a goal back. 2-1 with 6 to go. Free kick to PSG with 5 to go. They are putting a nice late rally on here. Mbappe with a shot blocked. And we just clear that out. We are definitely trying to cling on here. PSG have really stepped things up these last 10 minutes. They would have felt hard done by not to be winning this game anyway, but we were more clinical with our chances in the first 80 minutes. Have a PSG getting a good roll on late, especially after that Mbappe goal. Tolisso finds Gvardiol. Tonka, can we keep this at 2-1? We head that, clear that cross. It finds Pembele. Back over for Gvardiol. He puts a ball in, it is headed away before Mbappe can get on the end of it, but only back out to Pembele. Gets past his man. Oh, it's a great chance, but they put it over the bar. That is lucky. 3 minutes to cling on to a 2-1 lead. PSG with another throw-in the first minute of 4 of injury time. Tolisso will find Sergius. Oh, that is an absolute mess, but somehow we've kept that out. I don't know how. Gourlon was well off his line there. And we are now in the last minute. We'll give the boys a bit of a pep up. Bakar back to Gvardiol. Tonka. Can PSG pull this level? Hopefully not. Mbappe in space. His shot blocked. We've still got 20 seconds left to hold on. Tapsoba heads that clear. Agumi will get on the end of it, and hopefully we can just run out the clock here. He might even try and play someone through there. He didn't. We will get a free kick though. And hopefully this will suck up the rest of referee's time. We are over the allotted time. Agumi taking his time to put this ball in, as he should. And it's all over. We have beaten PSG for the second time since joining Monaco. We have not lost or drawn against them yet, and we get our first trophy of the season, the Trophee des Champions. Nothing of massive importance in terms of our season at the moment, but it should, at the very least, give our boys a very big confidence boost as we head into the start of the Ligue season. And it will be Ricky Puig lifting that trophy up. The fireworks going, the confetti coming from all angles. And that is a very good start to the season for us. Look, PSG absolutely dominated that game for the most part. But as I said, the first 80 minutes, we had 2 very good chances that our strikers took. They got one back for Mbappe late, and they had some very good chances after that as well. But not as clinical as they would have liked to have been. And with our fewer chances, 5 shots compared to their 20, we were a lot more efficient with ours, with 4 on target compared to their 6. Flavio Henrique getting the best performer on our team, but it could have also gone to Quintero with his impact. Both the goal scorers doing well for us. Our left wingers not having great games, Dembele and Gurley, but otherwise, I mean, you can't be too disappointed when you win a trophy. But PSG, definitely a good team. I mean, it's probably going to be Mbappe who gets man of the match, actually, but we don't worry about that too much because we've got our first trophy of the season. We'll give the boys a nice outstretched arms there. We'll say that we're pleased with that result. And we've got our first trophy of the season, and that is a very nice way to start our second season here at AS Monaco, and of course our first full one in charge. So we'll just have a quick look at this on leg injury before he disappeared today. It's only a tight calf. That's good. That is no issue at all. And you can see Nyanzu should be back around the start of the Ligue R season. So, in terms of when we're going to come back, our first game of Ligue 1, it's a couple of weeks away yet. It's against Amiens. That's a game we should absolutely be winning. What I think we'll do for the early part of Ligue 1 is I'll pretty much just see where I get to. I think that Lyon game is probably the biggest standout of that first month. And then we get to Nice the month after. And then you get looking at PSG the month after that. And at some stage around here too, you will have the Europa League kicking in. But I think what we'll do is we'll come back for Lyon in tomorrow's episode, and we'll play that second game of Ligue 1 and also show you guys the highlights from that Amiens game. But we have picked up the trophy from the preseason, and we've got one more game to go before we get into Ligue 1. And as I said, I think we will come back for that Lyon game in the second week of the season. So if you did enjoy today's episode where we wrapped up that transfer window and beat PSG 2-1 in the Trophee des Champions, then please do leave a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and turn that notification bell on so you guys are informed when a new video does drop on the channel. Also leave a comment down below whether you guys notice the difference with the computer and the game capturing. I hope it's a lot smoother than it has been the last couple of episodes, because that wasn't good enough, and hopefully we have rectified that problem now. And also maybe leave down below a comment about where you think we will finish this season in Ligue 1 and whether or not we will win the title or at the very least gain Champions League football for next season. But until tomorrow's episode against Lyon when we start Liga, I hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and I will see you then. Cheers.